Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And I gotta light one up for this one, because this could be a long one, could be a short one, I don't know. Anyway. My dog just left. It's not gonna be that fucking boring. I got an interesting little, I don't know, story or whatever, or something to relate here about 42nd Street in general. Hold on. I started working at Liquidators. Guys used to try to curry favor with me so they could get like better deals. And one guy who kept coming in was this guy named Bart. Now, Bart was a Wall Streeter at one time, but unfortunately he found out what the crack pipe was, or whatever the hell he was using at the time. So he was basically wheeling and dealing and hustling. Always would come in with a big smile on his face and, would curry favor by bringing me switchblades and shit like that. Well, one day, he said, I know you were used to go on 42nd Street a lot, and I was thinking about something because I was, working with the demolition crew and doing this and doing that. Well, probably you were just scavenging, but that's beside the point. So anyway, hang on a sec. One last hit. He comes in with this fucking thing, which is a glass block, which, I can't confirm or deny anything about this little piece here. The only thing I have a vague memory of seeing something like this in is one of the restrooms. It was sort of like the concrete wall was built up and then they had this shit. So he could be lying. He couldn't. Maybe he's telling the truth. I don't know. All I know is I'm sharing this block of glass with you, and maybe somebody who had frequented these theaters and actually paid attention to shit, where I was watching the movie and not paying attention to the decor most of the time, maybe somebody would remember this damn thing. But to my recollection, this would only, like I said, it is a foggy memory. Something about one of the restrooms, and this was like concrete abutment, then the rest of this was up there. But anyway, I kept this thing, heavy as it is. I think really that Bart was thinking there was some kind of lead content in this that he could scrap because he was that kind of a guy. Well, there was a theater on 42nd Street that I've spoken of before called the Harem. And the Harem was open 24/7. It was the only porn grinder that was open 24/7. The bars closed at 4 o'clock. Other theaters let out, around that time. Place like the Venus, like I had said, would open at 10 and close at 7 in the morning. But the Harem just kept on going. And I was trying to figure out why I was in the fucking place, because it really wasn't a place I would normally go. But the only thing I could think of was that I must have had an altercation or gotten in a fight with somebody or some fucking argument, and somebody was looking for me, and who would look for me in the Harem? So, I don't know, this had to be, God, late 70s, I would think. But anyway, it's around 1 o'clock in the morning, I think. I paid whatever the hell it was. I think it was like $3 to get in. This was a strange place, though, because you would have to walk up a flight of stairs and go into the theater. And you know how a lot of theaters have that like ambient lighting when the movie's still running? Like, they have like scones on the walls that give out a little bit of light? Not in this fucking joint. So basically, I had to flick my Bic and look at the seats after my eyes got accustomed to make sure the last patron hadn't left anything that I might sit on. And also, seating in these places was based on avoidance. And okay, I'm sitting there, it's around 1 o'clock. This film, The Tattooed Lady, comes on, and this tattoo artist is talking to this blonde, short-haired blonde chick about tattooing this chick's snatch or something like that. Matter of fact, I even put these on a DVD because I remember these damn films. But anyway, there's a waterbed scene with a girl little carpet munching thing. let me see. This guy tells a story about Ruth and how she had a tattoo when her whole world changed, and the scene switches to two guys that are fighting, and it actually looks like they're really beating the shit out of each other. And the guys are arguing about the tattoo. This chick Ruth has a killer bod and gives a really sloppy blowjob, and a bunch of stuff goes on. But anyway, they go back to, we segue back to the tattoo shop, and the chick at the shop is convinced that getting inked is the way to go, and the artist proceeds to prep her ass for the needle. And then he relates a tale of what really got him into the tattoo business, that he had climbed on a boxcar and had a blonde hobo in it. I mean, boxcars are full of blonde hobos. And I don't know, she pulls down her jeans to show him this really cool rose tattoo on her ass. Then they get naked in the straw and, eat some pink clam, whatever. So the fantasy ends back at the shop, the tat is done, and the film runs out. So now we're around, I don't know, 2 a.m., a little after 2. There's some hooker of indeterminate gender, shall we say, roaming around the seats, offering to do guys for $10. I politely nod her off, and she goes down to 5, and I'm like, no, get the fuck out. So that's it. This other film comes on called Hawaii Sexo, and basically it was a given that all these porn guys would rip off whenever a hot TV series was going on, or whatever hot movie was going on, and I don't know, let me see, I got my notes here. Okay. This couple is lamenting about a guy named Jackson, and this girl goes, Jackson taught me everything I know. Well, too bad he didn't teach you how to act, because you can't fucking act. So they get naked and hit the beach, and her name is Delilah, and they do that, I guess from here to eternity, screwing in the wave shit again. But anyway, all is well until a guy shows up with a fake gun. And he orders Delilah to get dressed and then takes off with Delilah in an ambulance. Put a big question mark on that, because the ambulance never came back. Then there's a cut to some oak trees, which I didn't know were indigenous to Hawaii. See, you can learn from porn. Now we're in somebody's apartment as another brunette is basically doing some guy, and Delilah is passed out on the floor. The guy says he is hung too. Okay, yeah, this is getting better. Well, whatever, dude, you're whiter than rice and you're not Asian. So he has a really cool looking water pipe, and he basically fills the girl's mouth with chum, and they find out that apparently Hung too killed Jackson. So they said, of course, Delilah is a little bit pissed at this and kicks Hung in the hung lows, I guess. And there's a bunch of shit going on, and Hung takes a big hit off the bong while he watches these two chicks go down on each other. And let's see, Hung is hammered and cheering them on. Well, it winds up that there's some really nasty close-ups of some gynecological stuff here. And it winds up that Terry, the guy from the beach, shows up, and he tells Delilah that he had killed Jackson. And Jackson's stash is $1 million in heroin. So they decide to get this $1 million of heroin, which is hidden on a cliff, and they duke it out, and Terry takes a header off the cliff with the bag of dope, and a quote from Shakespeare blows up all over the place. There was actually even a helicopter in this one. Whoever shot these two films, first two, really knew what they were doing. These were pretty good. So now we're hitting, I don't know, around the 3 a.m. mark, and I get a piss. So I find my way to the men's room, and there's a rather large bulldog-faced man putting on mascara and then pantyhose, and there's some guy kneeling in the corner asking me to pee on him. I basically ignored the both of them, took a leak, and found my way back to my seat, or at least a seat that, wasn't dirty. So, I'm trying to think what the next one was. What else comes on here? Love Lies Waiting. And this one actually has credits. A lot of these things might have had a snippet of a credit because the damn projectors would basically rip these friggin' films apart. And of course, everybody's cheap in the porn business. They didn't bother splicing them together. So sometimes these things would just start with no explanation. You didn't know what you were watching. This one is pretty interesting because this is one of the California ones, and this chick's hitchhiking and she gets picked up with a biker. She's wearing a hot mini skirt and boots, and he takes them to, what the hell is this chick's name? Damn. Oh. Madam Eva. And her name's Veronica, and they're smoking hot. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. There's a little whipped cream put on the hot dog, which I really don't condone. Food and fucking doesn't work for me. A couple other hookers get a ride in with some out-of-towners, one of who is Rick Lutz. And it's a bunch of stuff going on here. Madam Eva goes to check on one of the girls, and one of the out-of-town guys, Rick Lutz, is sniffing a pair of dirty panties. Now he wants to cross-dress. The drag queens in the first row loved this because it was an audible cheer when he put on her bra and nightie. Like I said, this place was really fucking weird. So Eva decides to make some money off this, so offers a girl-girl show for $20 each. This one was pretty good. I'm not giving it justice because I'm trying to get the memories back, but then that one ended and something rolled down the aisle and came to rest against my heel, and I moved my heel and kicked it out of the way, seeing it was a empty quart bottle of Thunderbird, the crown jewel in the wino universe. What's the word? Thunderbird. What's the price? 50 twice. So yeah. Now we're at, I don't know, around 4 in the morning. I'm starting to nod out, and this thing comes on. Fog City Productions presents Up at JJ's Place, with the only name I could recognize in there was Sharon Thorpe. And this is one of those mixed combo deals. Interracial, black guys, white girls. This was like a really hot item when this first started in the 70s, especially around 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. And they called them mixed combos. So it's basically 3 guys sitting around, shooting pool, drinking liquor, snorting coke, and smoking weed, and 3 trashy white chicks join them, and they go up to JJ's place. And this goes, it's basically these guys are talking shit, and then it just boils down to nothing but action. And all these guys are doing is just like banging the shit out of these chicks. And there was a weird ending here. It's, I don't know, the end, the camera dwells on a well-endowed type of organ there, and I don't know if it said the end or not, but I don't know. At that point, I was like, okay, and then tattooed ladies come, or whatever the hell it was, tattooed ladies coming back on. So like, all right, fucking out of there. I'm pretty sure that whatever was going on isn't going on anymore, and if it is, I really can't do nothing about it. So actually, I did do this up. I did find these films because I bought a collection and they were in there, and I put them on a DVD. 42nd Street Pete's Sleazy Grindhouse Picture Show #2, a 2-disc set available from AfterHoursCinema.com. So if you want to see those strange films, and this is probably the best shape you're going to see them in. Yeah, Harem was a really strange, creepy place, and found out later that it was a haven for transgenders and cross-dressers and stuff like that. Oddly, it was really close to there was 3 emporiums right almost on the corner of 42nd Street. There was Show World on the corner of 42nd and 8th, and right across the street there was the Show Palace, which was a gay place, and then right up the block was Show Center, which basically had transgendered ladies and the peep show, the live peep. Which sets another, I don't know if I should tell this story or not, it's in my book. We were out one night with this guy, and he came up from, I don't know, down south somewhere, and this guy was obnoxious, and, nothing shocks me, I've seen it all, this and that and the other thing. And after driving around and hanging out with this guy for about an hour, I basically wanted to kill him. But now we're on the corner of 42nd Street. It was my buddy Matt, his crazy cousin Victor, and this guy Tony. So I'm standing in front of the Show Center, but my back is covering the sign that says exactly what it is. So I said, hey, this is a cool place, why don't we go up in here? So, all right, we go up into the live peep, and the thing with this one was it was like a half moon thing, but you could see everybody's faces because there was a mirror on the wall. All right, so this idiot's like maybe a couple boots away from me, and this really hot-looking Hispanic chick laying on a bed with her back toward us, and then she rolls over, and something that would rival John Holmes flops out. All I heard was change hit the floor. The door bangs open. This guy's hot-footing it out to the street. I'm laughing my ass off. Matt and Victor look at me going, that was really fucked up of you to do this. I'm thinking, the guy's a jerk off. So we're outside, and this guy's, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, what's the matter, Slick? Thought you seen it all. He goes, that chick had a dick. And I'm like, oh, that's nothing. I can take you to some place. And Victor goes, no, it's not door. I'm like, all right. So poor Tony really didn't say too much for the rest of the night. But that's one of those little strange and twisted adventures frozen in time. And I could never advise anybody to go into the harem. It was a weird, creepy, and twisted place. And I'm sure as we segued further into the 80s, it got fucking weirder and weirder. I was reading some stuff on the 40 Deuce Facebook group about what you could smell was like, burnt crack pipes and PCP in there at a certain point. I was smoking weed. I smelled weed. I didn't really smell anything other than the stench of human bodies up there. So, yeah, that's how bad it was. So, that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Welcoming all new subscribers to this madness. And we'll catch you on the flip side. So above all, stay safe.